All right. So, welcome to the training. I know a lot of people are wanting to study on their own to pass their civil FE exam. And so, what I wanted to do is to make a special training for you to give you some methods that will ensure that you pass your FE exam on your next attempt. So, in this image, you all see I passed my civil FE exam about a year and some change ago. And it was so exciting, to receive that result of passed, right? You see that green there. And I just remember, how hard I worked, and I remember studying on my own. So I just wanted to share, some things that can really help you. So let's get into the training. All right. So here is what I did not do. I didn't pay for, super expensive courses to help me study. All right. I didn't rush to take my exam. So each time I took my exam, I would try to study the material and look over everything, do some practice problems. And I wasn't like cramming a bunch in right before my test day. I didn't blame my university for feeling unprepared. I took ownership of, trying to study on my own. And I also did not pass on the first time. It took me 3 attempts, right? First one was a fail, second one was a fail, and then the third go round, I finally got it together, right? And so on that third time, I learned the right way on how to prep for the exam through self-study. So why do you care about this, right? Why do you care about my journey? Well, ultimately, you're probably watching this training because you want to pass your civil FE exam, right? You don't want to fail, right? Or you may have failed once and you don't want to fail anymore. That test is expensive, and I think it's like $175, and you just want to save time, effort, energy, and just go ahead and get it behind you so that you can ultimately make more income and be able to get your PE. So here you see a screenshot. Someone sent me this that they had passed, and I was so excited about their success, right? I love receiving messages from people who have watched my content, have used some of the resources I have, or from wherever, and have, taken the time, the dedication to go ahead and pass their exam. All right. So who is this training for, right? This training is for people who are looking to pass their civil FE exam within the next 2 to 3 months. Now, not saying it doesn't have to be 1 month, but roughly 2 to 3 months to give yourself some time to study, right? And to not be cramming so much information in like a few weeks, right? It's for someone who's probably been out of school for some time, so it's hard to remember some of these formulas and equations, right? You've been out of school for a little bit and you're trying to jog your memory. And it's for someone who's willing to study on their own, right? You're taking ownership of this study process and you're wanting to study. So this training is not for someone who your test is literally in like a week or two, right? You're right on the edge and you're about to take it regardless, right? It's not for someone who is not willing to commit and stick to the journey and stay consistent as you're studying. And it's not for someone who is trying to rush and to skip processes and skip equations and skip some of the learning phases that you need in order to pass this exam. All right, as you're studying on your own, you have to own this process and be willing to study. All right. So who the heck am I, right? You're probably wondering that. For some of you, you may have seen some of my YouTube content, and for others, you may just be, seeing me from Google or wherever it may be. So who am I? I'm James Huntley. I help individuals pass their civil FE exam and ultimately increase their income, right? And I've created so many success stories, and my portfolio kind of speaks for itself. And in some of these screenshots, I mean, people each and every single day are reaching out, commenting on my content, or either working with me personally and just thanking me for the value that I bring, right? One of these says, thank you. These videos are very helpful and easy to follow. So I try to break things down so that people are able to, relate to the content, and it can be valuable so that you go ahead and get this FE under your belt, right? So I am a FE civil coach / mentor. So it's also ultimately my job to help individuals pass. All right. So I want to share with you kind of my step-by-step process to create these success stories that I've mentioned. And it's 3 simple steps. I'm not saying that they're easy, and I'm not saying that they don't take time to accomplish, but they are doable, right? The first step is to understand the concept. And I'm going to go through these in a little bit more detail on this training. So first thing is you want to understand the concept. Second step is to do the right practice problems. And then the third step is to train for the game. And so let me explain. So again, the first thing is you want to understand the concept. So what I mean by this is what are all the variables that are associated with a certain type of problem. So I have in this screenshot, it is dynamics. This is the dynamics section. And there is a equation underneath the particle rectilinear motion, right? And so there's a bunch of variables in this equation, right? And so what I'm saying is when you understand the concept, you understand what variables are associated with this concept. So in this particular formula, V is your final velocity, V0 is your initial velocity, A is your acceleration, and S is your length. Those are your starting lengths and ending lengths, right? And distance. So what I mean by understanding the concepts is what are, those variables that are shown, and how are they associated within this formula, right? So some of them are squared, some of them are multiplied by 2. So you need to be aware of this as you're understanding concepts. Okay. I also, as we're talking about understanding the concept, is have you watched any videos on these particular concepts? Because if you have not, there's someone who can explain this stuff to you in basic terms so that you're not so confused and overwhelmed. I know looking at certain formulas, it can be a lot at times. So have you watched any videos, right? This is going to help you understand the concepts. And then if changes are made within the variables in a certain equation, what happens overall? And so these are conceptual questions that you're going to be asked on the exam. And so when you're able to understand, okay, in this particular situation, what happens if my initial velocity increases, right? Well, if all my other variables stay the same except for my final velocity, then I know that if my initial velocity increases, then ultimately my final velocity is probably going to increase. So just thinking about those things is really important as you're understanding concepts. All right. So number 2, do the right problems. Now, this is really, really crucial. So many people are studying so much material, but it's the wrong material. And this can be a huge mistake and can cost you to fail your FE exam. So are you following the handbook? And so I took a screenshot of the handbook, and I want you to know that the handbook lets you know exactly what's going to be on the test. It lays out how many questions it'll be, which is 110 at the time I'm making this video. It's a 6-hour timed exam. And for each, topic, such as mathematics and statistics, there are going to be roughly 8 to 12 questions asked. But what the most important things are you doing practice problems on these topics that I highlighted, right? Are you doing practice problems on analytic geometry? Are you doing practice problems on single variable calculus? Are you doing practice problems on vector operations, right? And you're just going topic by topic. And being able to, study and master some of this stuff. So, yeah, this is you have to make sure that you're doing the right problems. All right, so the third thing is you want to train for the game. So what do I mean by this? Well, think about it like this. For a football game, right? 2 teams come together and they play each other. And normally, both teams have watched film and can see what the other team typically does in certain situations. So in football, if a team is running a certain play, they've watched film on that play. They know how many receivers are lined up. They know normally what the quarterback is looking for. They know what defense they probably need to run to be able to stop the offense and what they're trying to do. So it's the same thing for this test. You want to train and practice and review the material that is going to be on the test, but you also want to be so prepared for the exam that it is easy for you to actually pass. So as you're practicing, as you're training, you want to be timing yourself, because the actual test is timed, right? You want to be challenging yourself and seeing how you can play with different equations, right? So that on test day, you haven't memorized things, you actually understand what you're going to be asked. And then putting in overtime, right? You're not just doing the bare minimum. You are doing multiple practice problems. You're doing multiple practice tests. You're doing everything in your power to train for your exam so that you pass. All right, so there's going to be some problems that you may face, right? One of those problems could be you don't know where to start. There's so many topics, as I highlighted before, that the NCEES has let you know that they're going to test you on. You may not feel confident in all the areas. So you might feel confident in engineering and economics and maybe transportation, but you may struggle with structural and mechanics of materials and dynamics. So you also may be hit with a few blind spots. Some of those blind spots may be time management, test taking skills, the strategy of how you're effectively choosing how to use the FE manual, right? There's some blind spots that you're going to face. And then sometimes it's just you're going to need clear explanations, and the material that you're using to study is just not giving that to you. So, what is the cost of not taking action to kind of fix some of these problems, right? And I look at this as a cycle, as a repeating cycle that you get caught in as a civil engineer who hasn't passed their FE. And this can be really, really frustrating, right? So it normally starts with you being busy, right? As a civil engineer, you are in high demand and there's always work and you're going to be busy working. So you get in this cycle of working, followed by studying the wrong material on and off, right? So you're like, I'm going to study, right? I'm going to get it done. And then, a week or two go by and then a deadline is due for the company that you work for. And so you have to push this aside. And so you're now studying the raw material and you're doing it on and off. So you're inconsistent. Followed by, then you're like, okay, I'm setting the line, all right? I'm picking a test date and I'm going to, study and get it done regardless. So you pick a date, you begin cramming, you're cramming and studying the raw material, and then you get the result that you don't want, which is you fail and have to retake. And every time you fail and have to retake, it's more money and more lost money because now you're not getting the raises that you want. Now it's taking longer before you can be eligible to get your PE. So it's just this repeating cycle of getting busy, studying the raw material, picking a test date and cramming, and then failing and retaking. And I've seen this with multiple people that I've talked to, multiple people that I've worked with. It's a cycle that you don't want to have, and it's a cycle that you can avoid by taking action. All right. So what is the solution? All right. So there is a review guide that has all of the correct material that I have created. It has videos that clearly explain each concept. And so we go through the checklist with this review guide, right? Does it have the right material to study? Is the material clear? Can you understand how to go through everything? Does it match exactly what's going to be on your FE exam, right? Does it match those highlighted subtopics that we talked about? The answer is yes. Is there enough practice problems? The answer is yes. Does it prepare and train you for the game? Are there quizzes where you have to time yourself? Yes. And so I want to take a look at it with you to show you what it looks like and how beneficial it really is. So let's hop out of here for a second. Let's jump here. All right. So this is what this self-study guide looks like. It is a pretty huge PDF, but this PDF is very powerful. So it starts by, first of all, making sure that you understand the concepts. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to zoom in for you. So all of the topics that we talked about that are going to be on in the handbook, such as, let's just look at it. Analytic geometry. We have analytic geometry in our guide, right? And there's videos on understanding the concept. So I've linked videos so that you fully understand the concept before you start doing practice problems. Then the next step is to do practice problems. Okay. Then we look at it again. We go back to our FE handbook. They say we're going to have single variable calculus on our FE exam. Well, look at that. Single variable calculus. We go through the concept and then we do practice problems on it. And not only that, but now it's time to train for the game, right? Train for the game. So now there are practice quizzes where you've done practice problems, you have understood the concept. Now it's a matter of doing a practice quiz, timing yourself, and making sure that you are ready for the actual test, right? These questions have been designed so that it is roughly 3 to 5 minutes. So you're probably wondering, okay, that's just the first, couple, but this thing is very, very long. At the time I'm making this video, it is 54 pages, but literally each of the topics, each of the minor subtopics, they all have links to videos, and then practice problems, fluid mechanics. We have multiple sheets is on multiple sheets of just practice problem on concept on concept. So we go through everything from start to finish so that you have mastered all of the topics. We don't want there to be a question as to whether you're going to pass or fail this exam. So that's the Civil FE review guide. All right, so you may be saying, okay, that's great and dandy, but who all else has, received the benefits from this? And so this is why I say the things that I create is building success stories. And I want you to be a part of that success story, but I'll read some of them. Right? I got this email, a few days ago at the time of making this video. This is from Braden Beck, and he emails me. He doesn't have to do this, right? He says, "Good morning, James. Thanks to your self-study guide and videos, I was able to pass my Civil FE exam last Saturday. Your step-by-step practice problem videos are easy to follow and helped me in preparation for my exam. I hope others are able to find your resources like I did. Keep up the good work. Best regards, Braden." So amazing. As soon as I saw this, my eyes lit up. Like, this is what I do. This is literally what I do. I create resources for you all to ensure that you pass your exam. By going through this review guide, if you put in the work, it damn near guarantees your success. So, and I know that. All right, so let's look at Luke. All right, Luke is another person. Now, Luke, he does not have a degree. You don't necessarily need a degree for in certain places, right? You can have the work experience. So he, in fact, did. He worked with me for not a long period of time, but I shared, my guide with him. He went through it, and within a short period of time, he passed. And so these are screenshots from his text. I mean, I'm asking him for a professional photo so that he can leave, a review, and I can let you all know that this stuff is working and that this review guide is very, very valuable. All right. So I want to share an opportunity with you all today. I love when people take, first of all, the time, right? We're pretty deep in. We've been going up through quite a bit of material, and I like to reward people who see the value in the resources that I provide. I love when people go ahead and take advantage of special offers. So since you took the time to watch this training, hopefully it first of all gave you some value, but also it allows you to get everything that you need, and so that you can go ahead and begin studying on your own, right? So today only, I am giving 75% off on the Civil FE full study guide. Now, If you are interested in grabbing this full self-study guide, what you're going to want to do is go down. There should be a link down below. You're going to click it and you will see all the details that you need in order to go ahead and grab it. Like I said, I hope that this training was very helpful for you. I hope that you're aware of the 3 steps that it takes to ultimately pass your FE. I hope that you understand the cost of, not taking action, and that you are excited about taking the next steps and helping yourself go ahead and get this civil FE behind you, right? And passing it. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you take advantage of this special offer. All right, take care.